How you doing? I'm Callan and this is Slapped Ham. Today we're looking at some real creepy clips found on LiveLeak. But as always, before we dive in, remember to hit that subscribe button for more creepy content just like this.
Creepy clips found on LiveLeak don't always fall into the category of the supernatural. In some cases, it isn't a terrifying entity, but an all-too-human neighbour that strikes fear into the entire neighbourhood. This video features a peeping Tom who decides to use his ability to see into a neighbouring apartment to his advantage. In the video, the man enters the room from which he can see inside his neighbour's home and quickly takes his phone off its charger. He then sits somewhere, possibly on the floor, where he's out of sight. Then, the video clearly captures him holding his phone up to the window and snapping pictures of the inside of his neighbour's home. The woman, whose privacy is being invaded, often got creepy vibes from her neighbour when he would rush to meet her while she collected the mail. She eventually called the police. After numerous calls, the police finally came to investigate. When authorities inspected the man's computer, they found numerous inappropriate photos of the woman on his hard drive. The man was promptly arrested. Some of the creepy clips found on LiveLeak are enough to make your skin crawl. One example is this disturbing video uploaded from Southern California in the United States. The user who uploaded the video states that it was recorded on an outdoor security camera between midnight and 3:30 AM. The video focuses on a spot just under the eave of the house. As the camera watches, some sort of creature begins poking its way through the wood. It slowly wriggles its way out. It gradually becomes apparent that the creature resembles a snake or large worm. Its colour and size are unclear from the security footage, and its origin is a complete mystery. Over the course of the video, the creature struggles for quite some time to free itself from the wood. After getting out from the wood, the creature moves around on a nearby vent and pipe for a while, before finally falling to the ground. The video doesn't capture what happens after that, and the creature was never spotted again. A traffic jam may be the last setting you'd expect for creepy clips found on LiveLeak. In this bizarre video, the behaviour of one man navigating the traffic on foot was enough to have the occupants of a vehicle screaming in fear. The video is supposedly shot in China while the passengers of the car are trapped in traffic. Through the window, they record a strange man walking around in between the cars. When the man reaches their car, the passengers record him saying that he wants to clean their car. He then leans over and sloppily kisses the windscreen several times as the passengers cry out in terror. The man is all smiles as he slobbers all over the windscreen. His motivations are unclear, but his behaviour was obviously unnerving to the unsuspecting passengers. Sometimes the creepy clips found on LiveLeak are terrifying not because of what the camera sees, but because of what the camera hears. In this video, it's the spine-chilling audio that made one user tremble long into the night. According to this user, they've been walking down this same hallway almost every night for 15 years to get home to their apartment. They walk the hallway in the late hours of the night, making the sounds even more baffling. The hallway thumps with the sounds of ominous music and heavy bass. There's also an unexplained rapping that seems to be pounding on the ceiling. At first, this videographer assumed the music was coming from a noisy neighbour, playing their music too loudly. However, after 15 years, it seems unlikely that no one would have complained about such loud music so late at night. Could they be hearing the echoes of a party from years ago? Perhaps one that ended in tragedy. This user has no ready explanation for the strange sounds, but is clearly frightened to find out the true source. The last thing most of us want when we're about to bite into our dinner is to end up making one of the creepy clips found on LiveLeak. Unfortunately for these users, they ended up making a stomach-turning video. As these amateur chefs cut into a green bell pepper, they notice something odd. What at first appears to be a stringy piece of pepper is soon discovered to be something else entirely. A massive stringy worm. They begin to pull it out of the inside of the pepper as it wraps and curls around their utensils. Clearly, it's some sort of living creature. The worm mostly just hangs from the pepper, moving slightly, but the chefs who discovered it are clearly disturbed that the mysterious creature could have ended up in their stomachs. Many ghost hunters are familiar with EVP, or electronic voice phenomenon. With this technology, paranormal enthusiasts attempt to collect audio evidence of life beyond the grave. Often, ghosts are able to be picked up through audio, even when their forms are invisible to the naked eye. You don't always need fancy equipment to pick up EVP. Sometimes a cell phone camera is enough to capture the voice of a ghost. When this videographer is working the security detail at an empty building in Los Angeles, California, he's disturbed when he hears strange noises. Believing that he's alone in the building, he goes to investigate, hoping not to encounter an intruder. He calls out, asking if anyone's there.
Hello?
At first, the room is silent. Then, the camera picks up a sound that is barely audible. The security guard continues calling out in hopes of getting a clearer reply.
Hello?
Unfortunately, when he gets a response, it's not the one he's hoping for. As the guard calls out into the empty room, he's eventually answered by the echoing whisper of a disembodied voice saying, "I'm here." The guard quickly exits the area, choosing to leave behind the uninvited guest.
Oh, no, I'm leaving. Bye.
People love animals, well, most animals anyway. Certain creatures, such as rats and mice, are usually considered vermin by the majority of people. It's for this reason that when this videographer sees a man on a park bench surrounded by pigeons, often called rats with wings, he takes out his camera and begins filming. The man behind the camera approaches the man on the bench to ask him about the pigeons. The man is holding at least one pigeon in his arms, stroking it tenderly, when the videographer appears. He confronts the man, stating that pigeons are dirty. The man adamantly disagrees, stating that pigeons are some of the cleanest animals in the world. He decides to prove his point by placing the head of the pigeon he's holding into his mouth.
Oh my god.
The videographer seems highly disturbed by this act and leaves the man alone with his feathered friends. It isn't unusual for ghosts to be destructive. Some of the most common stories about hauntings revolve around items being moved or broken by a wayward poltergeist. Often, the damage is the only evidence that anything paranormal is going on. That seems to be the case in this next video. The footage in this clip comes from several security cameras located inside a small shop. The camera is focused on a set of glass shelves holding various items, such as small bottles of oil. The store is deserted and, at the start of the video, entirely still. Suddenly, the stillness is disrupted by shattered glass falling to the ground. At first, the only logical possibilities that come to mind are that something fell on the shelf or the contents of one of the bottles must have exploded. However, in the slow motion replay of the video, it becomes clear that neither explanation holds up. Nothing falls on or touches the shelf before it shatters, and it's clear that the glass panel on the side of the shelf breaks before any of the bottles. The user who uploaded this video seems convinced of a paranormal explanation. Before we get to that number one spot and take a look at one of the creepiest LiveLeak videos ever, remember to hit that subscribe button and turn on channel notifications. That way you'll be up to date with all our latest videos. 300 years ago, a young Roman girl, now known as Santa Innocentia or St. Innocence, wanted to convert to Catholicism. Her father forbade her to do so, but the young girl disobeyed her father's wishes. She befriended a nun and through her joined the Catholic Church. After taking her first Holy Communion and returning home, Santa Innocentia was met with her father's wrath. Furious that she had defied him, he took out a knife and stabbed her to death. She became a martyr as one of the first people to be persecuted for the Catholic faith. Santa Innocencia's remains were preserved in wax and placed on display in the Cathedral of Guadalajara in Mexico as a holy relic. Tourists often visit the site and take photos of the mummified saint, dressed in a white ceremonial gown and resting peacefully behind the glass. When one tourist decided to take a video, they got more than they bargained for. The footage shows the videographer quickly panning over the remains before focusing on the face. As the camera records, the deceased saint suddenly opens her eyes and stares right into the camera. Has the saint returned to life? Is her spirit still haunting her final resting place? Or is this a cleverly designed hoax meant to terrify viewers? No one knows for sure, but this clip is one of the creepiest videos LiveLeak has ever seen. Love to get your opinion on this one in the comments section below.
If you want to see some more creepy videos, then check out those 2 links right there. Now also, in the comment section below, let us know about the weirdest thing you've seen on LiveLeak. And that's it from me, I'll see you all next time.